Bricks and Minifigs is your one-stop shop for all things LEGO. Hit the link below to find a store near you. Hey everyone, Joshua Hanlon here at BrickFair, Virginia, and today we're taking a look at a massive Mission Impossible collaborative here with a whole bunch of builders. So I've got Nathaniel, he's going to be giving us an overview of this, and then we'll dive on in.
Hi everybody, so my name's Nathaniel, NS Brick Designs on all the social medias. I'm the leader of the Salty Bros group, so we are not a LUG or a LEGO recognized user group. We're not a LUG, but we're just a group of excellent builders that come together. We just want to have a genuinely good time whenever we're here. We do a lot of unique collaborations. If you've seen us before with Kingsman, Sokovia from Marvel's Avengers of Age of Ultron. But here we're with Mission Impossible. It's another unique thing that hasn't really been done with LEGO before, and we wanted to tackle it and kind of be the first to get some really good detailed things together for the public here.
Sounds good, perfect. So we'll take a look at the first build here then. So if you want to introduce yourself and tell us what you've brought.
Well, my name is Noah Hennings, H2 Brick Online. I think everybody knows the name. And I've got the first sequence here from Mission Impossible, the very first film, where we've got Ethan Hunt dangling down into the data vault at Langley, the CIA headquarters. And this build has not only lights, it also has a speaker system and has just a ton of detail. And I was able to crank this out in about 2 days with barely sleep at the end. But you know, it's all about the build, it's all about the collaboration.
When you don't sleep, it's amazing what you're capable of.
It really is, you know, it's something like immensely crazy, like 2 or 3 a.m. where you're working on the build and you're like, man, I really am staying up this late just to finish a LEGO project. But you know, that's where the ideas are flowing and that's where you're gonna get your most creativity, I think. I am a nighttime builder by trade, I feel. So, you know, that's my favorite time to build too.
So tell me about some of the details in here, because you've got a lot of little elements packed into this to kind of create all those details on the walls and floor.
Yeah, so I had several projects I needed to prep here for BrickFair Virginia, and this one is something that I already had been like envisioning like different details for. So what I really wanted to capture was at the bottom is the detail of the floor, and that's something usually very difficult to do because you need to get all the different lines, which are, you know, very thin and whatnot. So we've got a white floor with light bluish gray lines. It's all snot work, studs not on top for those people that don't know, and it all comes together. And I thought it would really fall out during transit. Thing is like I opened it up out of my carry-on and literally only one piece fell out. So I was just able to plop that back in and everything else was pretty much still. But yeah, that's one of my favorite details on along the wall. That's also angled with hinge plates, and you've got some lights also along the wall on either side. You've got the computer center in the middle, which I think I captured really well. I've also got a octane clock on top, just to add a little bit of, you know, that classic LEGO flair in there. And then, of course, Ethan Hunt dangling down from the pipe center or the air duct above.
Fantastic work. Thank you so much. Excellent start to the layout here. We'll keep making our way down then. So if you want to introduce yourself for the next build.
Hi, my name's Julian. I go by Thank the Lego Maker on social media. So I built this collaboration build for the Mission Impossible 2 movie. This is based in a bunker with a bioweapons lab, and so this scene represents a shootout between the protagonist Ethan Hunt and the villains of this film.
And how did you do kind of the glass parts here, because you've got some on the ground and then kind of broken windows effect?
Exactly, so I just used a bunch of small transclear parts to achieve that, and there's a lot of complex snot building, studs not on top building in this build with brackets and snot bricks, which took quite a while to design and figure out.
Are there custom minifigures here to capture the different characters, or were you able to find all official parts?
So all of these figures here use official parts from LEGO's catalog. They did make an official Ethan Hunt minifigure, so I'm using a couple parts from that, but the rest are creations made of parts from different figs.
How did you decide on this scene to depict from the whole movie? Because there's obviously a lot of options from each of these movies here.
Yeah, so this is one of the scenes that stood out to me after watching the movie. It was pretty dramatic, broken glass, slow motion shots, all of that sort of thing. So this was kind of the build to encompass the film for me.
Great work, thank you. Moving on to Mission Impossible 3, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Jillian. I go by Jillian vs. Reality on Instagram and other social media platforms as well.
And what did you depict here?
I did the running through the streets of Shanghai scene from Mission Impossible 3. Yeah.
So tell us about kind of the different buildings and your approach to the architecture here with this layout.
Well, what I really love about this collab is it's a collab within a collab. So it wasn't just me. I got help from everybody on this amazing build with all the different roofs, the buildings. I really wanted to capture just the use of different building techniques and different building styles. So getting to get collaborative help from my entire team was amazing on this. I really wanted to focus on the little elements, whether it's the plants or the hanging lanterns, to just the tops of the roofs. Going in for little details is something I really enjoyed.
One thing that's cool here is the way you did kind of the water kind of sunk down into the base of the build. So how did you get that to work with kind of all those elements into the base?
It's really all about playing with layers throughout the entirety of the build. When I was just planning it out, working on a grid and figuring out, okay, if I start with this layer, how can I sink and raise things in order to give a depth element to it?
Sounds good. Well, excellent work. Thank you so much. We'll move down to Mission Impossible 4 now.
Hi, so I'm Caden Burton, and I've depicted the deepfake hallway scene from the 4th movie, Ghost Protocol. One of the most important pieces of that was really to get the screen right. So the front of it kind of has the big outline of the statue against the back wall, and on the side where Benji and Ethan are is trans clear, so you can actually see the outline from both sides.
Such a great scene. One of my favorite scenes in all of the Mission Impossible movies right here. It's so cool.
Yeah, it was one of the ones, like, I watched the first 20 minutes of that movie. I was like, cool, I know what I'm doing for this collab. And I really got to build some more structural stuff, and all just the sleek tiling of it, I think, really adds to the effect of it as well. Limited figures, it really just adds to the way the architecture pops.
And how did you make that kind of wall in the middle there? Is that like a trans clear plate, or how did that come together?
Yeah, so the original backing of it was white plates, and I had all the dark red tiles and the white statue protruding off of that, and then went back, removed the white tiles one by one, and kind of fit in the 1x2s to make it a coherent piece. So it's all attached. It's fragile, but it's all attached, and it sits on a 1x1 bracket that's attached to the floor, so it's not going anywhere.
Perfect. And I love the decorative elements on the front of each of these builds here. So what are some of the pieces you included there on the base?
So the borders were one of the things we talked about originally. We wanted to really get the red lettering in there for each movie, and a lot of us had the idea to add fuses, since the whole opening cinematic sequence of the movies kind of takes you through the opening credits with the fuse that's following. So we've added a lot of dynamite pieces, all kinds of little greebling and piping to add, even with some fuses with a flex tube, with all kinds of fire pieces on the end, just to give that kind of look as you go through the rest of the mocks.
Excellent work. Thank you so much. On to Mission Impossible 5 now.
Hello, again, we're back again. Nathaniel, NSBrick Designs on all the social medias. So I built number 5, Rogue Nation. It's one of the newer films. In this movie, it's the anti-IMF agency, the syndicate, that is pretty much the main opposition for our friends in the IMF. It's a great film. The design process of this was a little tricky. It took me a while to figure out exactly what scene from the iconic film I wanted to do. I wanted to do the capturing of Solomon Lane on the bottom there that he's capturing right there in the glass box. But then I was like, why not do a bit of a mirroring image? So I have on the top is the intro of the movie, essentially, where Ian gets gassed first, and that way it's kind of a start and ending of the film. I had a lot of fun with it. I also want to say that these builds, all on their own, were a collaborative effort. Noah, that you already talked to from Germany, flew in and was at my house, and we worked on this together. So it was a lot of fun to work with him and just kind of get some of the finer details done because of him.
I like the tile array there on the top floor as well.
Yeah, thank you. Ironically, it's something I used in the Kingsman build that you guys interviewed last year, carried over ever since LEGO did those triangular tiles. It just makes that job so much easier. And we all had a little bit of fun with our border design. Ian, who you're about to talk to, designed that MI5, MI6, whatever logo. And then we each just spiffed up the border in our own way with greebling, and some of us did the fuse, because like the fuse was kind of like the iconic intro theme for some of the Mission Impossible movies.
Perfect. We'll take a look at the next scene then.
Hello, my name is Ian McCurdy. I'm Miss Elena Builds on Flickr and Instagram. And my build comes from Mission Impossible 6, Fallout. It's my favorite of the Mission Impossible movies. Maybe a hot take, but not really. And so mine depicts the nightclub scene. So I start off building the bathroom fight, and then decide I want to add more height. And within like a couple weeks before the convention, decide to build the top. So we finished that the other night. So yeah, that's kind of what we got going on right now.
So take us through some of the details and the minifigures here and how you were able to lay that out.
Yeah, so again, I started off with the bottom. That was a good thing and a bad thing, because I started by designing the sinks because that was going to be so defining on the mathematics that went into it. I use like the vehicle exhaust ports underneath the sinks to do the little metal pipes. But because they're 3 bricks wide, it meant that I had a 6 wide structure, and 1 by 2 is 5 plates wide. So that made the math a little trickier. And because I was tiling the whole top, because I got them off Pick-a-Brick, it made the base really difficult to get everything to mesh right. But in the end, it did. Lug bulk was a huge thing that helped for that. Pick-a-Brick, so it was getting a lot of bulk parts. I knew from the beginning I really wanted to do like add special to the black border, so I did some piping to represent the bathroom. There's also some red EL wire that we use like for World of Lights. You can't really see it, but it'll kind of illuminate the bottom of the build. Going from there, I started designing the stalls. Those are pretty much snot, and they use the new 1 by 1 by 2/3 plate with a hole in the center, and espresso plates to get them nice and flush with the ground. And then on the back, we have all the urinals too.
A couple of film extras as well there.
A couple of film extras, yep. I'm not entirely sure who they are supposed to be, but they're somebody. Yeah, and then after that, I decided I really want to do lighting, because World of Lights, I was trying to get something in for that. So I took some solder, LEDs, and then I soldered them all in. They use trans clear tiles, and it really illuminates the build. Even in bright light indoors, it really allows that bottom to pop, which was kind of getting missing because it was getting dark, because there's so much overhang. And then after that, I went to the top. I wanted to do a sideways plate technique. I was going to do upwards brown plates because it's carpeting, but ended up going for sideways. And then I did all the yellow dots to represent the circle pattern. There's more EL wire up here. You can't really see it again. EL wire doesn't really react well in the light. You can't really see it well, but it adds a yellow glow to the outside edges of the stage, like in the movie. This is representing, I think it was a charity auction that was going on, so that was like the 2 parts of it. And so they have a lot of people floating around. All the lamps on top also had a faint yellow glow, which again, in the bright light isn't really visible, but in the dark it adds like a nice ambiance up there. And then we have some of like the curtain in the back. I use a lot of grill tiles because that was something I could find cheap in gold, and use those for the back. It had this rough texture, and then added a back wall and the overhang light for the stage. So,
fantastic work. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I think that brings us to the final one here.
Hi, my name's Rob, or Rob's World War II Bricks, on Flickr and Instagram, and I built Mission Impossible 7 Dead Reckoning Part 1. So I, in built my true builder fashion, joined last week. I like to procrastinate and stuff, but I decided, you know what, I really wanted to be a part of it, and we needed to do someone to do 7, and I was like, screw it, I'm gonna do it. Let's build a scene. Though the movie did just come out beginning of July, so I haven't seen it yet. And so I had to find a scene that I knew how to build. And so this was the most iconic scene from the trailer. So I was like, you know what, I really do like this scene and stuff. And it definitely, when I said I want to build 7, I was like, that's the scene I want to do. And so it's great because I got to build vertically. I build a lot of horizontal stuff, a lot of landscape and things like that. But I wanted to build mountains and I wanted to build up. And so, with the help of some of my other collab partners and things like that, I was able to figure out how to do mountain work and build up and, create this really like iconic scene from the trailer.
Yeah, and it works really well. That scene is just so insane when you're watching the movie. So I think you captured just kind of like the steep drop off there very nicely.
Yeah, no, it definitely, it's in 2 sections, the mountain's in 2 sections. So I had one initial section that I built at home, and then here we were like, let's build it higher. And so we sourced a bunch of slopes and stuff, and we're able to make it higher and really show it's a very tall mountain and stuff from the trailer.
Excellent work there. All of these builds are spectacular. So what was the kind of overall collaborative process like as everyone worked on this?
Yeah, so starting off, we really want to get a good solid foundation for the bases. We all knew what movie we want to do, or figured out which movie we want to do. We got that organized, and then really from there, everything up top was really free range. We had some people that shared a lot of lit pictures. We had some people that posted them kind of way closer to the convention. But really, we started off by figuring out what does everyone want to build, and then we decided we all want to do black bases around them, but we didn't want to do the sharp edges, so we also all decided on doing the round corners. And then again, we decided to do the Mission Impossible 6 or 5 for all the numbering like the movies do, and built some fonts to put onto that. And after that, some people decided that they were going to soup up their borders a bit more. So we have the fuses. Noah's got a really tall one, so it all looks phenomenal together when you add all that in. So.
Yeah. Excellent work to everyone involved here. Thank you so much for taking us through everything. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.